We are ready to go, my man. Let's do it. Let's do it. So, the reason I wanted to do this podcast with you, Luke, is because we, the podcast called Head to Head with Sam Gibson, we are head to head every day, aren't we?
Yeah.
But not in a bad way, in a good way, because we work together.
Yeah.
So you are my junior content creator. That's your official title, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So you've been working with me a few weeks now, and I must say, mate, breath of fresh air to have you in the office. But what we're going to do today is just kind of talk about. We mentioned about the different generations, weren't we? Because obviously I'm 26. How old are you? 19.
19. Yeah.
Bit of an age gap. And I think we were talking a lot about back and forward about social media, about just expectations on life, you know, and how these generations are. We're currently experiencing as a younger generation, whether they call them millennials or whatever. I think we're experiencing pressures that people and generations before us didn't have with social media, with just the way the world is right now. And I thought it would be interesting to kind of compare my experiences with life so far, lessons I can pass down to you, maybe lessons I can apply and relate to other people, you know, your point of view, what you're experiencing and how you're going about this, because it's important, you know, and I like to see these conversations, these podcasts, they're just quality conversations. Yeah. And I think I was telling Jack before, obviously Jack, who's doing the podcast, whose studio it is, and who's here with us today. I was telling him the reason I chose you for my job is because you said something that stuck out with us, and that's what clinched it for me. It was the fact that you could have easily got a job somewhere else, but you just didn't want to because you didn't value it, you know. So just talk us a little bit about that, mate. Why have you always wanted to kind of do what you're doing now, you know, the social media stuff, the video editing, and why did you wait so long until you kind of committed to a job?
Yeah, it's sort of like I'm always wanting to like observe, and I've always observed, even through school and everything like that. And I just knew what would fit and what wouldn't fit. Maybe some people did, maybe some people didn't. But like I know I definitely was one of those people that would. The reason why I waited was because I observed other people and my friends around us, and I just thought that, and like
they weren't happy.
They weren't happy. No, they weren't happy. No, you're right. But like it's like I couldn't live like that. So I knew that. I know all my friends are getting, you know, these jobs and all that, and then I got into college, and then the same thing again, got new friends, and then I still stick with my old friends, but then it was just like they all had jobs and I didn't.
I bet you heard them complaining about work all the time.
They did. That was one of the things. It was just constant, and especially in retail. It's, you know, I mean, it's always the customer's right, and it's difficult to manage. I mean, I'm not saying I couldn't manage that. Yeah. And I could, because I can handle myself, and like, but I just don't know. I've never been in retail, so I don't know what I would like. But I know I wouldn't enjoy it, and that's why I was like saying, like when we were talking about it previously about nothing wrong with going to McDonald's, nothing wrong with Tesco's. It's just not my preference to do that, and I was never one for the latest technology out there. So money wasn't as strong. Yeah, you were obviously at college. I remember when I was at college, you know, I was getting a student loan. I just spent all my money on, you know, drinking drugs. But I get it, if you're at college and you don't really have any outgoings, any bills, like what's the point? But if you've got expensive tastes, I think you can relate to that. Like you might have some friends who've got expensive tastes, and all they do, like I've got friends, right? I'm not naming names because they're probably listening, right? But they're on okay jobs, you know, but they'll drop £300-400 on a t-shirt just to wear on a night out, and I'm thinking, well, that's a week's worth of your wages, mate. Like, what are you playing at? And I think if you do have expensive tastes like that, you end up becoming a slave to money and just exporting your expensive taste, and that's why people end up taking jobs they don't want to take. So back to that, you know, what was it now, 2 months ago when you had that interview for me, or whenever it was. When was it? It was it was about that much time. It was
6 weeks, something like that.
About 6 weeks, yeah. Something like
so obviously that was what clinched it when you were like, I want to do this. This is what I've always wanted to do. He has my qualifications. He has what I've already done. And then when you said that, I thought, I can see myself getting along with this lad, because obviously Limitless Training, my business, my coaching company, if you like, we help people who struggle with emotional eating. I help people lose weight. I used to be a personal trainer, used to help people with their fitness. Now I kind of transitioned to helping people who struggle with their mindset, with emotional eating, with anxiety, you know, with energy. And that all ties into this thing about, just getting jobs you hate, because one of the big things I see from people who I work with who maybe do struggle with emotional eating and need me to help them lose weight, they're stressed from work. They've got jobs that they hate. And I think you recognise that from a young age. You observed, as you said, that's not what I want to do. And I think there's something to be said. My advice for anyone in your generation, do not be pressured by society to get jobs that you hate. It never ends well. Because listen, I'm working with people who are 20 years older than you, Luke. they're dealing with the consequences now of living 20 years in a job they don't like.
Yeah.
They've got bodies they don't like. They've got alcohol addictions, seriously. You know, they've got things in their life that they wish weren't there, all because of the stress and the pressure that this job that they didn't really value gives them. Yeah. And it's because maybe they didn't take the time out when they were your age to figure out who they really were. And I think I noticed that from when I kind of left school. I feel like you leave school, right, and you're just thrust into the wild world, and it's like, figure it out yourself now. Then you look back and you think, hang on, nobody taught us about bills, about taxes, about financial. Nobody taught us how to handle my emotions. Yeah. And we've talked about this before with Natalie, who we also work with. We were saying, imagine if they did emotional response in school.
It would be a lot better. Like, you'd know what you were going to do. You'd know everything. Like, schools constantly hound you, what you're going to do, and we don't know what we're going to do because you haven't taught anything.
Yeah.
Like, they could always blabber on about, oh, we've got all these subjects, what can we possibly not teach you? There's a lot. Teach you about finances.
Life. They don't teach you about life.
They don't teach you about the fundamentals of life. And that's the thing that's most important. Like, education is just a piece of paper.
Yeah, you're right. And you're someone who values education.
Yeah.
You're saying that. I'm someone who values education because I've got a coaching program that educates people. I've got 2 degrees. But I would tell you right now, the education system in this country is completely broken.
Oh yeah,
definitely. They don't teach kids about emotional response. They don't teach kids about anything to do with nutrition either. Like, basic health is important. They teach you PE. It was 1 hour a week you do a PE when you're at school. 1 hour a week. It's insane. You know, I remember I had a lecturer from university who worked in Australia. He's like a sports therapist now, I believe. He was a great lecturer. I learned a lot from him. And he done might have been his PhD in Australia, and he said he could not believe the difference in education over somewhere like Australia compared to us. He said PE is like a mandatory. They do it every day. There's activity every day built into the curriculum. I guarantee. I mean, I can't quote you on this because I've got no stats. I'll quote myself on this, but I bet you the anxiety, the depression, the suicides in places like Australia are a lot less than England. And you can argue back and forth, oh, well, they've got better weather, they've got better climate, the economy's better. Cool, but have a look at what they're doing, what they're teaching their kids. And I noticed that myself, you know, from the age of like 16 to 22, 23, I just felt lost. I felt like I was getting dragged in a direction that I didn't want to go. Pressure from the world, pressure from social media. Everyone else is doing this thing, so you've got to fit in. And if you don't fit in, there's something wrong with you. And like I say, back to that statement I said, when you stood out to me, you're like, oh no, that's not what I want to do. You were like, yeah, I haven't had any work experience before, but this is what I can do. And I could see the confidence in you, and you were willing to stick to that, you know?
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to... There was a lot of things going through my mind when I got from the job application to being, you know, thank you for an interview, going to the interview. And for the split second when you said you got any work experience, I was going to say yes, because I had work experience in, it was called the Common Room, and that was where I'd done some projects, but I didn't feel like that would be a true answer.
But it kind of is though, really, mate, because 2021, look at what we do in cyber business. You've worked with me, how long? For 3-4 weeks now? Yeah. Is it like a job?
Oh, well, it's funner. It's chill, it's fun. Laid back, doesn't feel like a job, to be honest.
Mate, we're technically working right now.
Yeah, this is work right now. Like,
I'm paying you right now, mate, to do a podcast with us. Like, seriously, like,
honestly,
in 2021, stuff like that, like a common room job you did for your college, that's work. Anything where you're providing value, that's work. And I think there's this transitional phase going now that kids have to understand. There's hardly any opportunities out there, but there's loads of opportunities out there. What I mean, opportunities for people, there's always talks about, oh, there's no jobs, or you just got to get any job. I talked to you about this before. I had a conversation with my parents and family. 16-year-old literally left school a week, still wet behind the ears, sitting us down at the table. So what are you doing with your life, son? I don't fucking know. I'm 16-year-old. You know what I mean? Leave us alone. Get off my back. Let us figure it out myself. But there's social idealisms, there's pressure from family, there's what everyone else is doing, and I just felt lost. You know, but in this day and age, as a young kid, a male, a female, anyone leaving school, it doesn't matter what walk of life you're from, what social system, you're working class, middle class, it doesn't matter. That's all gone now because we live in an automated techie society. We do. Look what's happened to the world the last year. Amazon run the show. Yeah, that's proof that if you have the right kind of automation, the right kind of system with the power of the internet and technology, you can create your own living just off sitting in a room doing podcasts or sitting in a room doing videos on Facebook. Look at some YouTubers, isn't there some kids who are like,
oh yeah, like kids who are getting like
millions a week,
Lamborghinis and all that. It's like, what the hell? You're not even my age yet.
But what they're doing, like someone from an older generation, like the different generation to us, could say that, oh, it's not a fucking job. Get a real job. You hear that all the time, don't you?
Yeah.
In reality, that little kid is providing more value than you are, mate, at your builder's job. And I'm not. That's nothing to go against regular blokes who've got 9 to 5. But this kid who's doing, video editing or whatever he's doing for YouTube, his content's reaching millions of people. And in the world right now, the more value you provide, the bigger impact you have, the more people you reach with your value. If they watch you, if they listen to you, if they click on your videos, you can get paid from that. So obviously you understood that, and that's why you wanted to keep it to, you wanted to be a social media guy, you wanted to learn video editing, you wanted to understand marketing. That's what you learn at college. So you had that idea that there's a gap in this industry for me. There's a gap in the market. That's the direction that the world's going, and you weren't willing to drop that and just get a job in a shop, or because I'm going to say it right now, I think the way the economy is, I think they exploit young people.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Why is minimum wage £2.50 an hour for a 16-year-old or whatever it is, but then for a 25-year-old it's like £8? It's like, well, I get it that 25-year-old's more than likely to have more life skills, provide more value, but that 16-year-old who's only getting like ridiculous minimum wage still has to go to the shop and pay for a loaf of bread. It's the same cost as the guy who's like, you can have two people in Asda, like I've heard people say that before, stacking shelves. One's 25 and he's getting £9 an hour. One's 16 and he's getting £4. It's like they're doing the same job. So I think the economy's set up to kind of exploit younger people, and they just take any job, work long hours, and then, especially during lockdown, when all the restaurants were opening back up, they were all students working. They were all young people. And I know a lot of people would say, well, there's nothing else for them. They've got to do that, let them earn, let them get that life experience. But what I'm saying is there's a whole other world out there. There's the YouTube world, there's the Google world, there's the website world, there's Amazon. I know a guy who makes 6 figures a year on Amazon, and he sells massage guns and kids slime from his house in South Shields. Yeah, that's amazing. He learned that himself. I created this business myself. I learned off other people, of course, but I did it myself. There was no one telling me how to do it. So I think for my advice for people of your generation is understand early, like, what is it you really value? Like, what is it you want to do? Like, figure it out, and then don't let anyone else tell you that it's wrong.
Oh, yeah. Like, I feel like people who come from the bottom and build it to then have them strong foundations to, build more and build. So like you, for example, you've came from all this, from your background, and then you've built all of this without any help.
I did have help, but
you had help, yeah, but like it was primarily you. You know what I mean?
I invested in that.
Yeah,
like,
you invested more.
I created some money for my business. Obviously, it went well, and then instead of spending that on shit that I didn't need, I spent it. Like, I spent 40 grand on my business last year.
It's crazy.
When I look at those numbers, I'm like, oh my god, how have I spent that much? What the hell? Why couldn't I have saved that money and bought myself a nice holiday or some more clothes? Oh my god, all the things I could have done. That's my ego talking. But then my authentic me comes out and says, think of the bigger picture. Think of how many people you were able to help by investing that back in your business. I've employed you for a start. I've employed Natalie. I've employed a social media team who help us. It's like, I'm investing that to get help off other people so I can help more people and therefore help myself. It's like, and you can start that from nothing. You can start that from a single decision. Right, I'm going to try something today. And what I'm trying to say, the power of the internet. And I think there's a bit of a generational curse going on with your generation at the minute. I don't see a lot of opportunities for you. But that's because if you think to the social idealism, the 9 to 5, you leave school, you get an apprenticeship, you get this. And I think there's people who are in control of the world who are totally out of touch with how the world actually is.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I noticed that at my age, but it'll be even worse for kids your age. Kids leaving school now, they haven't got a lot of leadership. There's not a lot for them. So they're just relying on these basic jobs. And, and I would hate to see the unemployment figures after this pandemic of kids leaving school and colleges. But they have to also understand on the flip side of that, if you just go against the grain, stop doing what everyone else is doing, stop listening to the other generation, because your parents knew what was best for you at 5-year-old, not at fucking 25-year-old, So think about it. Think about what do you want to do? What talent have you got? What skill or what hobby do you just have a passion for? And ask yourself, how can I use the internet? How can I leverage the internet to create a job from that? That's all I did. I like helping people personal training. I like helping people with their nutrition. I like people with their mindset. And obviously, it's snowballed into this bigger thing I'm doing now. But initially, it started off, I can help people lose weight. I don't want to be boxed into a personal training gym. Why can't I go online? I can leverage the internet to help people who lose weight, and it just went from there. Like, use the internet, use technology to your advantage.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what you're doing for me. You've made it a no-brainer for me to hire you and let you involved in my business, which gives you a wage, it gives you a start, it gives me help, because you're leveraging your skills of understanding technology and what you learned at college to create content for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, pretty much some of the stuff you're doing right now, all it is video editing, your podcast, and, you know, like I say, someone older would look at that and say, that's not a job, but it is, because you're providing value. You're providing videos for me that I do that I wouldn't know how to edit myself, and I'm able to post that and help people.
I think people lack an understanding of what value really means.
Yeah.
Like you say, they'll just say, if you're just sitting at your desk, you're just sitting at
working
your desk,
hard and providing values, two totally different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know, I don't think most people understand really. And I think if a lot of people understood what the true meaning of value was, they'd respect people a lot more. Because in reality, yes, it is sitting like this YouTuber I'm watching. My God, he's came from like the bottom, and he's just made he's a lot more professional now. It's absolutely amazing what he's done. He done that without any help whatsoever. And being a YouTuber, I've realised is actually very difficult. Like, you spend 6 hours on one video or a couple of videos at least.
Yeah.
And it's like, then people have the audacity to say that it's not a real job.
Say this 50-year-old dude, just hypothetical situation. 50-year-old dude works on a builder site.
Yeah.
He's grafted all his life, but he's hated his job. All he lives for is the weekend, just to get pissed, you know, and shout at the telly and argue about football with his mates at the pub. He could look at someone who's 14, 15, 16, making all that money on YouTube and be like, fucking disgrace that. And they get jealous and envious about it. I've got family members who are like that. Family members who've heard stuff about me and be like, when you're getting a real job, fuck off. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Okay then.
This is my job.
This is my job. They don't see that YouTuber doing 6 hours of video editing, providing the best content for his audience. Yeah, to provide his audience with some entertainment. Do you know what I see my business as, Limitless Training as? Obviously, I'm providing value and helping basically emotionally as lose weight, transform their mindset, get in shape. But I see it as a life expansion. And obviously, I've got the Elite 365 coaching program, which is my highest level one, which you help us do all the content for. And that's helping people across all areas of their life and tying in health and fitness. But what I see that as, it's infotaining. Like, I'm entertaining people with what I do, right? With giving them content and making them laugh and, you know, just giving them some value, but I'm also giving them information that can change their life. It's entertaining, but it's information, and that's what value, I think, is, in my opinion. Got to be able to entertain people. If I was just talking, sorry to interrupt you, Luke, but if I was just talking about, you need to eat this, you need to eat that, you need to follow this, it's fucking boring. Yeah. I realise that in my local area, there's hundreds of personal trainers who are all talking about the same shit, and it's good information, but it's what's making them stand out. Nothing. So that's why I thought, right, I'm going to have the PT thing. I'm going to tell people about diet and training, but I'm also going to add this infotainment on, this value infotainment. Yeah, there's a big YouTube channel who I watch called Valuetainment. I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't, no.
He's like a guy who interviews like mob stars and like real estate experts and, you know, valuetainment. He's providing value, but he's entertaining people with what he does. That's what the world is right now. The world needs valuetainment, infotainment. All the things I watch on podcasts and YouTube, they're all educational stuff, things that help me learn. And I'm thinking to myself, these people are making a career out of entertaining me, but giving me value at the same time. And I think young people need to realise that. Young people have got a leg up on these 40, 50-year-olds. 40, 50-year-olds who might have all their life experience. They don't know anything about technology. You tell me an up-and-coming business right now that doesn't rely on technology for their business.
It's heavily like, it's... the world's so advanced now, it just relies on, eventually we're going to get to a point, if we haven't already reached it, where every single aspect of our life is going to be within technology. And it's like, and like you say, I know you've fought in the war, I respect you for that, you know what I mean, those people who lived back then and all that, but all your knowledge base is then, you don't know naught about now, I don't care what you say, you don't, because that's the truth really, though, isn't it?
It's harsh, but that's a hard pill for people to swallow, but it is. And I think the way society is these days, they love division. We could sit all day and talk about division, black versus white, gay versus straight, transgender versus, well, I don't even know what the other term is, cisgender. Is that the term they're using now? Like, to
be honest with you, I don't really know myself. There's that many.
It is, yes, of course. So there's these, like, it's black and white, it's gay, it's straight, it's this is that. It's like, we've got this thrust in my face, and I feel like this is creating generational division.
Oh yeah, 100%.
If you work some of your friends in retail, guarantee you those friends in retail will tell you, who do they have problems with? Older generation customers. This entitlement that they've got, I know best. And I'm like, hang on, do you fuck know best?
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes a young person just to have the balls, like what I'm going to have right now, and say, listen, your time, I'm not saying your time's gone, your time is now.
Yeah.
Stop trying to project the old world onto the new world. This is why kids are leaving school and they don't know what they want to do with their life, because they've got these social idealisms that their parents are thrusting on them. You just need to get a job. Any job, doesn't matter what you do. Just hold on to it. Really, that's making them unhappy. Well, as a young person, if you look at the people in your life who are giving you that advice, ask yourself, are they happy? Do I want to have their life? And if you don't listen to them.
Oh, yeah.
Don't listen to them. Like, one of the biggest bullshit myths I've ever seen is, like, listen to your elders and, like, oh, they've got more experience than you. That's dog shit, man.
Maybe
if they had more experience, well, why are they in this position where they don't like their life?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
It's because I think people base, oh, well, he's old, so he knows everything about the world, but it's really not, though, is it? Yeah. It's like you just being born in this generation and growing up, you are already knowing, that's your knowledge.
This is the best time. Yeah. I know people could say right now, oh, there's all this going on with the coronavirus. Statistically, this is the best time to ever be alive. The economy's thriving after the lockdowns. Everything's technology.
Like, everything's in the perfect place, like even the planets. Everything is just perfect.
The opportunities, like I said, there's young kids who are playing video games who are getting millions a year off YouTube because they're providing a service to this new internet age. Like the potential is incredible. And that draws it right back to why I named my business Limitless Training. Started off as obviously helping people with the PT and stuff, but the word limitless, I decided to make that because essentially your potential is limitless. And when I thought about that name, that's what I thought at the time. I was like, yeah, even though it wasn't going well for us back then, I'm not going to lie, 5 years ago I was in a very bad place mentally, financially, physically, emotionally. I wasn't doing well. But I had that dream, I had that vision, and I might have gave up on it for a little bit, but it was still there. And I believe that if I can teach someone to have that skill set, that mindset of, you know what it is, I've got potential. It might be buried deep within me. I might not know how to bring it out right now. But if you combine that potential that I think every human's got, it's completely limitless. You can decide to do anything. You can be anyone you want to be. And you can leverage technology, podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, the internet.
To your
advantage. Anyone can become anything. And it's never been easier.
Yeah.
10 years ago, I would never have been able to get my business off the ground. Why? Facebook ads didn't exist.
Yeah.
Social media didn't exist. How would people know who I was? 10 years ago, if you were a personal trainer, you had to have your local area boxed off. And there was like one or two PTs in the local area who were killing it, and everyone else was like, eh. Like, I remember 10 years ago, there's still guys who are popular now in South Shields, South Tyneside, where we live, who were popular 10 years ago, and they've managed to keep it.
Yeah.
But since then, there's probably been dozens and dozens of PTs who started, who've left, who started, who's left. Why? Because it's just so hard. So back then, to build your business, without the internet, it was almost impossible, but now it's so fucking easy. It's so easy. Like, I teach people inside my coaching programs. I help them with that mindset and stuff. And, you know, even Jack, whose studio this is, I've told him how he can leverage social media and leverage me as his coach to create more business for himself. It's very easy once you know the system.
Yeah.
You know, so your role with me is obviously helping me do that, you know. So what's the most interesting thing you think about working with me?
Well, everything really. I just think the way we get on with each other, it's just like as you say, it's not a job.
I told you that in the interview, didn't I? I said this will be the best job you'll ever get.
And it is.
This is not a job. You're helping me just live my dream.
I just see it as going to this office, doing fun things that I like to do, even though I've been doing it for, you know what I mean? I haven't been doing it for that long. I still like it, and then we're finding out. It's not that though. It's like if we'll run into a problem, we'll figure it out. You know, I was talking
to that mentality as well.
I was talking to Natalie about it yesterday. It's just like she was saying, well, look, if you were in a big, massive office and they would just tell you to do this, because we've grew this business to how we want it, so you'll do it our way. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, I find it quite fortunate that you've took this on, where you're still growing. So anything that happens, it all happens. You know, we'll all do it together, and it's fun. It's really good.
Yeah, it's like,
I think it's an amazing opportunity that you give us.
I appreciate that, mate. I know it was. It's an amazing opportunity for me as well, mate. It's not just me giving you an opportunity. You're allowing me to do more things like this. You know, so this is what I wanted to kind of drift into today, and I'll talk about it. But the way I apply my life is, imagine you are the CEO of your own life. And I'm sure there's books on this. Yeah, but imagine you are the CEO of your own company. What you'd have to do is hire, fire, delegate jobs, get organized, and create this machine that allowed your business to thrive, that you're the leader of, and you've got people working underneath you. Well, if you can apply that mindset of this is my life, this is my business, but it's my life. So what parts of my life am I good at? What parts of my life do I need to focus on? What parts of my life have I exposed that's really bad? And how can I hire or get some help or delegate some help to change that?
Yeah.
Like if you were the CEO of your own business, right? And let's say you had this big business, like for me, let's say the content was going well. Let's say the organization was going well, but no one was signing up to the coaching program.
Mm-hmm.
I would be like, well, the marketing's shit. We're not providing enough value. We need to change marketing. We'll get someone in to do marketing. Yeah. Or let's say the marketing was great, but the coaching program wasn't being fulfilled. People are leaving. I'd say, right, we need to bring an extra coach in to help with that. Like you would look at what area of your life wasn't working and you would do something about it. So as the CEO of your own life, you've got to understand, like, well, what do I need to focus on? What do I need to change?
Mm-hmm.
What do I need some help in? You know, so that's all I did. I was like, right, I'm good at speaking. I'm good at coaching people. I need to help people with that mindset, with that nutrition, because that is my background. As much as I love to focus on mindset and like life expansion, I'm a PT through and through. Like my PT head still comes on. I still teach people on fat loss and that every day. I'm giving people advice on what to eat, what they should do for training, you know, motivation, managing their energy. But I also like to say it's this bigger picture thing as well. So that's all I'm looking at. Like, and I needed you to help me with something that I wasn't as good at. So by me going, right, can you do the video editing for us, please?
Mm-hmm.
That's give you an opportunity to provide value, which is therefore going to help all my customers and all my clients because it's going to be better content and it's also going to help me. It's a fair exchange of value.
Yeah.
You know, and I think people don't understand that the world is ran on value. Like you said before, people don't know what value is. You know, so in your words, what would you say value means to you?
Value, it's just whatever you're willing to put out there and do to ensure that you do that, if that makes any sense. Like just it's just like just providing what you like, just providing yourself.
It's providing a service, really.
And a service, yeah. Just so that, yeah.
Like this sounds very harsh what I'm about to say, and I know some people get triggered by this, but I'm just gonna say it because people need to get their head around what value means. There's a reason a heart surgeon gets paid more than a regular nurse, even though that regular nurse grafts her arse off. Or maybe graft his arse off. I know you can have male nurses and female nurses, of course. This nurse grafts their arse off, right? Works hard. They deserve to be paid more. When I found out what nurses get paid, it's like less than I'm sure it's like 12 quid an hour.
Oh, yeah.
For what they do, it's like, wow, they should be paid more. You know, definitely should be paid more. However, they shouldn't be paid as much as the heart surgeon.
No.
Why? The heart surgeon has had to learn an incredible amount of skills. Like you could not get a regular nurse, and there's nothing against regular nurses. They do an amazing job. But you could not get a regular nurse to perform open heart surgery in a moment on a patient who needed a heart transplant. The reason the open heart surgeon is paid more than the nurse, even though the nurse can say, well, I work twice as long hours, that heart surgeon might work 10 hours a month.
Yeah.
He might have one consultation every day to plan his next heart surgery. He might do one heart surgery a month, but it's a 12-hour operation. He's solving a higher level problem.
Yeah.
That's what the money of the world runs off. That's what the value of the world, that's what jobs is run off. Like there's a reason a Lamborghini costs more than a Renault Clio.
Yeah.
You know, it's had more precision, it's had more expensive parts go into it. There's more perceived value from the customer. You know, so like I say, the open heart surgeon, he's solving a bigger problem than just a regular nurse, even though the regular nurse is probably working 3 times as hard.
Yeah.
You know, so value, in my opinion, it's how can you provide a service to solve a problem for someone.
Yeah.
And if you get good at solving problems, because that's all I am, a high-level problem solver. I help people solve problems with their relationship with food, with the relationship with themselves, with their mindset, with their nutrition. I help people solve problems so they can get results. You know, and I know it's not even about, you know, worrying about sales, worrying about this. I know that Limitless Training and me will always be a success as long as I'm providing world-class value and helping people solve problems.
Yeah.
And relating that to people your age, just use that same structure. Anyone who's successful in life, whether it be their own business, their own YouTube channel, you know, just success in general with whatever, they'll be providing a very high-level service that helps people solve a problem. It's always the same.
Yeah.
You know, and I think nobody teaches you that at school. They teach you about you need this qualification, and if you don't have it, I remember science teachers telling me, you're going to be nothing. You're going to go to jail, you. I remember teachers telling me that just because I've messed around in the back of science class. Like just pissing about like what kids do. And then you're telling me, a 12, 13-year-old kid, that I'm going to be a no-hoper. I'm a waste of space. I'm a bad lad. Like what kind of... Who's teaching these teachers the psychology and how to communicate with kids? You shouldn't be telling kids that.
Yeah.
There's no communication. There's a total generational gap They don't know how to communicate to kids these days. It's not the kids' fault. The kids are just looking for leaders. The kids are looking for mentors. They're looking for leaders. They're looking for people to show them and teach them. They're not doing that. You know, and even though I'm an adult now, right, and it's very easy that you see young kids, like someone, what is it? You know, when the kids are on the bikes and they'll run out in front of your car and they'll deliberately like piss about in front of you. The old me would beep at them and kick off, but I actually laughed myself. It happened to us the other day. I was just like, now it is, he's showing off in front of his pals. He's trying to get a reaction out of us. I was like, and then it made us feel a little bit sad. I was like, actually, there's no adults teaching these kids that they shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Like, they're just being kids. They're just being kids. And it could be very easy for me as an adult to go on Facebook, oh, these fucking kids doing this. I say that all the time, by the way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hang on a second, like, who's teaching these kids? Nobody. So these same problems through generations keep cropping up. Everyone's struggling with alcohol, everyone's smoking, everyone's overweight, everyone's depressed, you know, everyone's skint, and they're just living these lives where they're just like overwhelmed all the time. And I'm like, it's just getting passed down because no one's, you know, breaking the generational curse and saying, hang on a second, we need to teach these kids better. We need to give them what they need rather than what we think they need.
And I think, like, and to do that, it takes a lot of time because that's like changing one whole generation, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
But it's more than possible. You know what I mean? I think people just need some of that inspiration in their life. I think the educational system, if they taught more about that stuff, like, in school, I never heard anything about, you know, they never gave a quotes or anything like that. You know, like, just like simple things like that, like what you can do, what's out there. It was always just, oh, okay, focus on your job, you're going to do that. If you get these qualifications, you're going to get those qualifications, you're going to get those jobs. It doesn't work like that. You get those qualifications. And personally, if I ran a business, it's going to sound a bit harsh, but if I ran a business and I got someone who went to uni, got all these qualifications as to someone who barely had any experience whatsoever, but the uni person was a horrible person. Like, you know what I mean? You just know you wouldn't get on with them.
It's a bit of paper, mate. Seriously.
No.
It's a bit of paper.
No way that person's getting hired.
I've got 2 degrees, Luke, and I would say right now, as a younger person, unless your job that you really want to go into you have to have a degree.
Oh, yeah.
Avoid university. Because the system is broken, right? Do you know how... I'm sure I got a bit of resistance off my family when I decided I wanted to do sport. And they were kind of right. They were obviously wrong in the end because I made a success of myself, but they were kind of right in the short term. There's no jobs in sport, and there's not. Yeah. I got told there's 100... This was years ago. This was 2014 when I joined uni, when I started uni. One of the reasons that my parents used it against us to say, oh, you shouldn't do that, you should do something else, was and this is a fact, by the way, there's like 100,000 at the time, 100,000 university students every year in England pass sports science qualifications. That's every year. So since 2014, how many years is that? 7? That's 700,000 sports science graduates. There's not even 7,000 jobs in sports science in England. So why are we kidding ourselves that university is the answer? It's not. Most people who go to university, they end up stacking shelves in Asda. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that, I'm just saying, but it's not what you went to university for. So universities, it's just a racket for the rich to get richer, really. Yeah. You know, it's not.
And to get you in debt.
Exactly, to get you in debt, to keep you a slave. Like, people don't understand. Like, a young kid right now, I'm going to give them advice. If they've got a bit of talent with computers, with tech, learn a little bit about digital marketing, learn a little bit about e-commerce. For anyone who doesn't know what e-commerce means, it's just online businesses. Like Amazon's classed as e-commerce. Amazon's the biggest company in the world now. They trebled their profits last year. Why? Well, we went into lockdown, no shops were open, but they took advantage of that. That's the way the world's going. The world is all online. You don't need a piece of paper. No one can teach you anything in a university that you can't learn off yourself, off YouTube, off listening to podcasts, off hiring a coach. You know, this is why I'm a coach. It's why people need people like me, because we teach people the mistakes that we've made and say, listen, instead of learning from your own mistakes, learn from mine. Here you go. Here's a blueprint for what you need to do to succeed. So that's all I see people doing, you know, and relating it to diet and training, because that's obviously what I do. I've made every mistake in the book when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to managing your mental health. I've made all the mistakes. So that's why I was like, you know what it is? I feel like I've got the truth. I've got the truth, and I'm going to spread that. People can choose to accept it or not, and that's fine. But I'm going to help the people who think that the truth I'm spreading is real and they can apply to them. And I'm gonna show them how to apply it to them. Learn from my mistakes, you know. So, like I say, I think our generation. Obviously, I'm slightly older than you, but certainly the younger generation. I know how they must feel right now. If I'm putting myself in your shoes, or people who are 16, 17, just leaving school with this social media thing, you've never grown up without it. Yeah. So, what's your take on social media, Luke?
It's a part of my life. You know what I mean? Like, You think it's daft when I say that because it's, you know what I mean, it's easy to say, oh well, get off your phone, you know what I mean, but it's almost like it's a requirement now, like especially TikTok. That's just like that's just an addictive thing, you know what I mean. You scroll, you constantly look, Instagram, Snapchat, everything like that. You know what I mean? You can say that you're not on it as much as most people, but you are really though. You can't escape it. Like everywhere you go.
I'm on it a lot for work, obviously, but I'm still on Facebook and Instagram 3 hours a day. Like about 3 hours is what I spend on social media a day. I see, you can't lie. You can't run away. It's in your phone.
You cannot run away.
I'll tell you right
especially
now.
If you've got an Apple phone, it tells you your screen time.
Screen time. Where
completely. It's like
my daily average screen time is 5 hours. That's what. 24 hours in a day, you know.
Yeah, it's just a big part.
That's like nearly a fifth of your day.
Yeah,
you think, well, and let's say you're asleep for 8 hours.
Yeah.
So add that 5 hours onto the 8. Half your day's took sleeping on your phone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So, like I say, there's so much opportunity with social media and the internet now, but make sure you're using it for the right thing. And I think. The fact that I said right now, there's never been a better time for a young person to take control of their own destiny and create something valuable for themselves, leveraging the internet and YouTube and podcasts to create something amazing. However, there's never been an easier time to completely destroy your life by not using this internet thing, this magical computer phone for the purpose that it was, to connect you with the world and provide, automation, like to make the world easier. These were made to make the world easier. But people have become so used to it being easy, they're now making it hard for themselves. Yeah. So the social media, if you're on there and you're just scrolling shit all day, comparing yourself to others, like, I'll admit right now, mate, like, I think your generation, it's the mental health issues in your generation must be huge because of the reliance on social media, because you've never known anything different. And we know social media is a highlight reel, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's just like I say, it's just such a big part in your life. Like, I remember a while back, I know, just like something as simple as that. Like, I'm not really tied into social media as much as that. If it disappeared one day, yes, I'd be like, oh, it's so boring, but I wouldn't like suffer from it. And I know most people would, because they need that connection. Social media is not just a platform where you can message your friends, it's a connection. Yeah,
I turn my phone off on Sunday now and give myself a phone-free day. I'll do an hour or something on a morning just to kind of cut off my week, answer any messages I've got. Yeah. In the old me, I would care about what people thought of us, care about what my clients thought of us. So if the message on Sunday, I would make sure I responded back straight away. But I realised that was just distracting us from having that switch off from my job. So now it's like, right, half a day on my phone on Sunday, and then I'll do what I need to do, and then I'll literally turn notifications off. I might even turn my phone off. I don't reply to nothing, and I can't tell you how calm I feel on that Sunday going into the Monday. Whereas the old me of like a year ago, especially during lockdown, only day of the week off would be Sunday. What would I do? Wake up, just bang, scrolling. No wonder it impacted my mood. Why? I was getting in comparison mode. I was bored. I was seeing what everyone else was doing. And I was thinking, and I was applying my behind the scenes to their highlight reel. Anytime we are on social media looking at what other people are doing, we are allowing our imagination to fill in the blanks of what their life is like. We're just seeing one little tiny side of it.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever seen that photo describing social media, and it's got like the apple, which is all pristine.
Yeah.
And then it's all rotten on the side.
Yeah.
But it's only showing you one of the things. It's saying real life, reality, all that stuff's on the rotten stuff's there, but you're not seeing it. There's social media. That's what it is.
Definitely.
Everyone is hiding and they're not willing to be vulnerable. That's why I make it my mission to be as authentic as I can on these podcasts, on my posts, on my emails, on my client videos that I do. I just tell the truth. There's not one thing that someone could say about me that I haven't already kind of said myself. Like, I've been totally honest with the things that I've done wrong, with my past, with the mistakes I made, with the ego problem that I had, the insecurity that I had, and I can talk about that all day, but I've owned up to that, and I've decided to take responsibility for it. And I don't have a problem with showing my vulnerable side, but I think a lot of people do, because they think that no one else has a vulnerable side. So they're not willing to show that vulnerable side. They're not willing to show that they might struggle, that they might have made mistakes, that they might need some help, and they're addicted to posting their best bits.
Yeah.
But if you're really struggling mentally, where your best bit's going to come from? Like, they're not there. Like, you're comparing what's not there for you to someone else's. Yeah. But you don't even know if that's there either. They could be hanging onto a thread mentally, but they're still posting photos of them on the beach and all this stuff. Like, you don't even know.
Yeah, it's like a lot of celebrities have major.
They do.
major mental issues.
You think they've got it all together, but really you can see hella insecure.
Yeah.
We were talking to Natalie the other day. Is that I'm not clued up on the Kardashians, but I think it's Khloe Kardashian.
Yeah.
Like she spent potentially millions trying to get this photo that someone took of her out of the press, and all it was a photo where she's in good shape.
Yeah.
Right. But she edits her photos that much on social media that she won't allow any natural photos go out because it's just too insecure. And I'm like, the lady's got millions of fucking dollars in the bank.
Yeah.
And she can't even be willing to allow a photo of her naturally, looking fine, by the way, but just because she doesn't look pristine, she's got to be tucked and this and that. She's not willing for that to go out, and she spent money on suing people who took the photos. I mean, that's the story Natalie told us. I mean, and that's right. I mean, this is a person who's highly successful, got all the money in the world, yet they're choosing to not be happy because of this standard that doesn't even exist. And it's, no wonder people are struggling. If celebrities with all of the money in the world, all of the opportunities in the world, if they're getting caught up in this fake social media stuff and not willing to show that vulnerable side, and everything's got to be a highlight reel, what is it for the guy at the bottom, the girl at the bottom, the regular dude, the regular lady? What does that say about them?
Yeah.
And I think it's easy to sit here and say social media is toxic, but it's not how you use it.
Yeah.
It is how you use it.
It's just like, I personally think it this way, like, you've got a gun, and it shoots. That gun didn't shoot someone. It was the person who shot the gun who shot it. You kill that person. It's not like social media. If you go on your phone and post shit about someone, that's you using it in a toxic way. When in reality, social media is just this massive
entity. It's an energy thing.
It's just
You're right,
the
mate.
biggest thing in this planet.
Every company uses social media. If you have an interview for any job now, the chances are the employers are going to be checking out your social media page. Why? It's a representation of what you are about. So social media isn't the problem. And even though I say, it is a problem with, mental health and comparing yourself to others, that's not social media that's doing it. That's people's thoughts about social media. Like you said, the gun isn't the problem. It's the person using the gun. It's the way we use social media. And I think there's some younger people, like the YouTube guy who's making all the money, and the guy who I know who sells on Amazon and he's making a good living for himself, building the business online. It's like, if you're using the internet and social media for the potential it has, it's a wonderful thing. I run a business off it. I've worked with close to 1,000 people from 9 different countries across my coaching programs over the last 3 years. If it wasn't for social media, I wouldn't have worked with one person.
Yeah.
So social media is a wonderful thing if you use it correctly. If you use it incorrectly, it can destroy your life.
Yeah,
completely destroy your life.
Massive consequences using it the wrong way.
100%. I used to use it the wrong way. Like obviously my background is personal training and bodybuilding. I used to compete in bodybuilding, and for me, I was so insecure at one point in my life, like 2016, 17, 18. You go back on my Instagram and look off 4 or 5 years ago, totally different person. Yeah. The insecurity is all over my page. Every photo is a photo of me in the gym, tensed up with my abs out. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's not a dig at people who do that. Now, I still post photos sometimes of us in shape.
Yeah.
I'm posting it though because I'm fucking proud of myself.
Yeah.
I'm not posting it for attention or validation because I'm so insecure. Like, I used to take photos of, doing my bodybuilding poses in my room and then compare them and send it to my coach. And I would literally fucking cry at them.
Yeah,
because I thought I didn't look good enough. Cry. I'm a grown man who's crying because I don't look as good as someone else. And when I look back now, I think, I can't believe the mental prison that I put myself in. It didn't fucking matter. It was a fucking photo. Everyone else is comparing themselves to other people. So why am I even worried? The people who I fear are judging us online for not looking good, which is just me, by the way, me creating it. They're too busy worried about themselves. So we've got a bunch of people on social media who are massively insecure, who are doing things that they don't really like just to impress other people, who aren't impressed by it anyway because they're too insecure and focused on themselves. Like, so all these people who are trying to impress online, it doesn't even work. It's our perception. And I think, like I say, kids need to understand that. They need to understand that right now the opportunities for them is insane. It's incredible. But it's also terrible.
Yeah.
If you don't use it right. It's both there. Yeah, it's both there. And depending on which route you take as a young person right now and how you use social media, it can totally change the direction of your life.
Yeah.
And
that's the same thing with all the other aspects of your life, really, isn't it? You've just got to use things in the right way and understand how they work, because if you don't, then...
Use versus abuse. The use versus abuse. I mean, you can die if you drink too much water.
Yeah. Right.
You can genuinely die. If you ate apples all day, I'm not sure how many it would take you to die.
Yeah.
You die of arsenic poisoning because there's arsenic in apples.
Yeah.
Anything that's good is bad. Yeah.
You can't have good without bad.
And something that you say, oh, that's bad. It's like, well, if it's used correctly, it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we know alcohol's bad, but I tell my clients all the time, listen, if you like an alcoholic beverage, factor it into your calories. It's your overall calories at the end of the day what's going to give you the results you've got with your body composition. So if you like an alcoholic drink, make sure that you hit your calorie intake the days prior, you work hard, you hit your step count, you do what you need to do, and then you can go and have that one day where you have as much fucking drink as you want. In moderation, obviously. And it's not really going to affect your progress. But if you're doing that every night, it's a problem. If you're doing it once or twice a month, it's not a problem. It's the use versus abuse. You know, the abuse of something will give you, you know, anything excess is bad. Anything in excess, you know, like say too much of a good thing becomes a bad thing. Too much money, bad thing.
Yeah.
If you use it wrong. Like money's not evil. People say, oh, money's the root of all evil. No, the route to money is the root of all evil. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like how
I get it.
how do you have to get that money? Do you have to do things that are bad, that are generally just not good? Do you have to trade your time? Do you have to trade your mental health for this money? I think that's what a lot of people are doing with jobs. They've almost done a full circle talking about the jobs again.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, you said some of your mates struggle with their mental health and things. And was that down to the jobs they hate? Is that down to social media? What do you think that's down to? You don't have to name names or get personal, but just generally.
Yeah. From what I've heard, it all stems back to that sort of like jobs. I'm not good enough. Those
and where do you think that thought of I'm not good enough's coming from? Comparing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Comparing
yourself to all that people, and it's like it's sort of sick how like it's become a trend that you should look absolutely perfect. You know what I mean?
It's not good
because it's not like I get that some people like maybe like quite overweight, and it's okay to feel okay with that, but you're hurting yourself really. So you should like try and get it like toned down a little bit, but not like, I don't mean like in a body, like in a tone, but I mean like it's just like you shouldn't follow what people say is perfect.
Yeah.
Whatever you think is what you should follow. Because if you're constantly living life saying, oh my God, I'm so jealous, my mate's got work, my mate's got this, he's got so much more money than that, you shouldn't compare yourself like that.
I found that, mate. Like I noticed that, and you know what it is? Like I make a big effort not to gossip.
Yeah.
Talk about people behind the backs.
Yeah, that's got to be the worst thing you can do.
But I noticed that there's pals, the people who say they're friends, slag each other off behind the back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, such and such did this, they're full of shit. But then they'll be posting photos on Instagram with each other. I'm like, being jealous of your pals, and I've experienced this when I started doing all right. I lost touch with people, and hey, that's nothing personal. That's okay. I'm all right with that. You know, I'm not here to please people. I'm here to do what I need to do, and it's okay if you lose friends and associates. But I had more friends, like people wanting to spend time with us and wanting to be around us when I was drinking, taking drugs all the time.
Yeah.
When I'm doing what I'm doing now, it's hard to find people who are willing to hang around us.
But you're in a positive mental state.
Yeah,
aren't you?
exactly.
That's
so
what
it's
you're
like
for.
People compare themselves even to their closest friends behind their backs, and then they wonder why they're struggling. So they've always got this, you know, even family people have like issues with like who's doing better in the family and things like that. I've seen it. I work with people who've got this like weird little confrontation with their partner. You know, like I've worked with ladies who, let's say they want to start losing weight. Like it's nothing to do with their career and stuff, but losing weight, right? But their partner, their husband doesn't want to. Husband's drinking every night, not really caring. Oh, what you going to the gym for? What you signing up this coaching program for? Just because the lady who I'm working with, and I've worked with a few ladies who are in this position who've actually been on tears on the phone with me saying they don't know what to do, Sam. I'm struggling. I don't know if I should join your program again. Even though I want to, my husband doesn't want us to. I'm thinking, wow, like there's people who you're friends with, people who you love, your family members, who are still comparing them to you and then judging you for the change, for the difference. And I'm like, just get your fucking attention off everyone else, put it on yourself. Like this comparison thing, comparing yourself in a negative way, comparing yourself, you know, in any way, or judging people for being different to you. Mm-hmm. You know, and that broke my heart. And that, like I say, this coaching client of mine, we ended up kind of going separate ways. She just basically said it's too much stress and I can't do it because her husband wasn't having none of it. Why? Because she wanted to lose weight, change her life. He didn't. Mm-hmm. And eventually the husband got their own way, and I've never heard from that lady again, unfortunately. I know she was really struggling at the time, and it would break my heart to think of where she is now. I hope she's doing well, but I doubt it, because the environment was just so toxic because of this comparison. Like, I'm happy doing this, why are you doing that? Shouldn't do that. So people will compare, and then when they don't like what they see, they'll judge. But really, that's just a judgment of themselves, you know. So this happens on social media. Like I used to do this. I used to be, you know, one of the main reasons I was struggling mentally is because I feel like I had such creativity, this streak that I wanted to help people with. You know, I wanted to be a really good personal trainer. I used to look at other personal trainers who were doing well, and I used to hate them.
Yeah.
Because they reminded me of what I wasn't.
Yeah.
And I think that happens a lot on social media.
Yeah, jealousy's it's a dangerous thing, like, isn't it?
Horrible emotion.
It's difficult to deal with.
Everyone feels it though. I'm sitting here right now. There's going to be a time in my life I'll get jealous of someone. I'll get envious of someone. Same. You're human, so stop beating yourself up for having these negative emotions first of all. But understand where it's coming from and is it serving you? If you're jealous, angry, frustrated all the time, stop blaming the world for how you feel. That is because you are creating those emotions and you're believing them to be true, and you're letting them run your life. Once you drop the comparison, drop the envy, the jealousy, like, you don't have to feel that. Like, if you were doing what you were supposed to be doing and that you know you can, you don't feel jealous.
Yeah.
You only feel jealous of someone when they remind you of what you are not.
Definitely.
So if you feel jealous or you feel like you're in comparison mode, like I say, young kids comparing themselves to this fake standard, I get it, but okay, instead of saying, well, that's wrong, that standard shouldn't be there, social media's so bad, accept that it's going to be there and there's going to be a bit of fakeness about. But instead of comparing yourself, say, well, how can I make my life better right now? Because if I do this, I'm just going to lose. If I compare where I'm at now versus this, I've lost. But if I compare where I started versus where I am now, or if I compare, right, what is this person doing that I want to be like that I'm not doing? It's changing the perception of it. So instead of using social media and getting a negative result from it, oh my God, I'll never look like them people, it's so toxic. Instead of saying that, go, okay, I'm feeling a little bit shit. I'm feeling a little bit anxious. I feel like I'm behind in life. What is it that I'm jealous of, that I'm envious of in these people? What have they got that I haven't? And is it, first of all, is it possible for me to have that? Because if you're comparing yourself to this model who's been photoshopped and, you know, eats like a bird and takes performance-enhancing drugs as a fitness model and who's ripped you around, and you've got some guy like me thinking, oh my God, I'll never look like them. I've got to take a boatload of drugs to look like them, and they can do it naturally. When in reality, they're probably juicing through the gills. Yeah. So ask yourself, is it actually obtainable, this thing that I want? And if it is, what can you do to move the gap closer? Don't just sit there and go, oh my God, I can't do it. Yeah. So you can negatively compare yourself, but you can get something from that. Depends what perception you have on it. Like, are you gonna allow that to defeat you? Or are you gonna allow that, maybe that negative comparison that has made you feel a bit jealous, that has made you feel a little bit, you know, anxious? Can you transition that energy into something positive? You know, because you can't do that. Like, energy is energy. Anxiety, the emotion of being anxious, it's a high energy emotion. You've got energy when you feel it. Can you transition that into something positive, something productive? Yeah. You know, so that the power out there for these young kids right now, and even yourself, look, like, I'm talking directly to you and your generation, you know, like, the internet is a wonderful place. We can leverage systems, automations, you know, websites.
But it's hell if you use it.
It's hell if you use it the wrong way. The universe has presented us with a gift, power of the internet, power of automation, power of Facebook, social media, all that sort of stuff. But if you use it wrong, it's a curse. If you use it right, it's a blessing. And that's kind of the message I wanted to give younger kids today, like, the opportunities for them. Don't listen to the older generation that, oh, it used to be better in my day, there's nothing for you now, you've just got to get any job, go work and Asda the rest of your life, otherwise you'll be on the dole. Fuck that, they don't know what they're talking about. They're from a world that doesn't exist. Listen to people like myself, listen to people like you. Listen to people who you are inspired by, because you can't be inspired, not a lot of people know this, you can't be inspired by someone without recognizing the trait that you are inspired by in yourself. It's impossible to look at someone. Like, who are you inspired by? I'll ask you that question. Who inspires you?
I don't have a specific person, but just people who, like, I'm inspired by people who just build themselves from what.
Do you know why? Because you can see that in yourself.
That's what makes sense. That's
why it's inspiring to you.
Because I'm heavily ambitious. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I want to do so many things. Yeah. But I realise that, okay, I might not be able to do that, and that's fine.
Not right now.
But
exactly. You can see it in you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be inspired by it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing all of this. I never ever thought I'd be here. You know what I mean? Like, you mentioned we were going to podcast, and I was like, oh wow, I did not see that go in that direction. Okay, fine. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But the point I'm getting across is to anyone listening: if there's something that inspires you, that means you can already do it. Yeah, because you would not be inspired by it if you couldn't recognize that trait in that individual anyway. Like, loads of people I'm inspired by, they've all come from, in my opinion, people who are knocked down and got back up again, like saying building themselves up. I think the most inspirational trait that I've seen is people who've been through adversity and they've come out the other side a winner.
Yeah,
I'm so inspired by that. That's what I see every day inside of my coaching program. I've been with, I will be getting more guests on this podcast, and I'm sure people will hear the stories, because I could write a book about the 3 years that I've done inside Limitless Training, the people I've worked with, close to 1,000 people, the stories I've heard, the people who've pulled themselves out of suicide, who've pulled themselves out of the darkness of depression, who've overcome anxiety, who've dropped like 100 pounds. It's like, it's unbelievable. Totally changed their life. It's unbelievable. And I've got all this knowledge and this inspiration that I've witnessed and that I've created myself, and I've witnessed it in others, and I've almost give people some inspiration, that I've took the inspiration from them. It's like this energy transfer. Like, I just creating this positive vibe, this frequency, in the hope that other people can recognize that in me and do it themselves, and they'll transfer that back to me. It's like this perfect transition of energy. It's like I'm creating a business, a system, a program that helps people become inspired, and then in return of that, they inspire me to be a better version of me. It's so fucking beautiful. It really is beautiful. And that's what gets me up every morning out of bed, thinking, let's fucking go. You know, and I have struggled with depression and things, and all depression is when the expectations about how your life should be are up here, and your reality's down here. Yeah. Sometimes you're expecting things to work out and they don't. Something happens, you're like, oh my God, I don't deserve this. That's what depression is, disempowerment. Yeah. Expectations and realities are totally off, and depression lives there. So there's been times in my life where things have just went wrong, or things haven't worked out the way I thought, and I took it to heart. I took it personally, and it depressed us, and I created anxiety and panic attacks. But that's why I think I'm inspired by people who pull themselves out of adversity, because I remember how scary that was. Like 4 or 5 years ago, I was a different person. 3 years ago, I was a different person. You know, and for me to put all that shit behind us and think, right, how can I create something special from that? How can I change that negative energy into positive energy? How can I teach other people how to do it? That inspires the shit out of me, and everyone else who I'm inspired by is like what you said, like people who've got ambition, people who are willing to build something. There's something so inspirational about someone who built something from nothing and created this amazing thing. That's
why it's so inspirational. Yeah. It's just like you've literally been told that you can't do it, and you've done it. You know what I mean? Like, it's absolutely crazy. Like, you can come from any background, wherever it may be.
I truly believe that.
You know what I mean? I believe, like, even those war-torn countries, you know what I mean? Get out of there, you can be whatever you want to be. It doesn't matter how, like, I don't even see it as class, but in terms of, unfortunately, that's what the world sees it as, class. If you're all the way at the bottom, you can make it all the way at the top. Yeah. Like, it's not impossible at all. It's only impossible when you talk about, oh, I want to fly right now. You know what I mean? Like you were saying before. Yeah. Like, humans can't physically fly. That's impossible. Humans can build something to make them fly. That is possible. Yeah. And we've done it.
But what can you build, innit? What can you build?
Exactly.
Humans are creators.
Yeah.
That's how we're the most successful species ever, Luke. We control this earth right now, even though there's animals on this earth. Yeah. They'd fucking kill us in a one-to-one fight. In a one-to-one scrap, we've got nothing. Yeah. But we've got brains. Yeah. We've got innovation. We were able to create close-knit groups together. We were able to use our brains. Other animals, that's how they haven't evolved. They haven't used their brains. They've just got the survival instincts. They're more physically prowess than us, but they're not going to build huts and shelter and form close social groups and form emotional bonds. We were able to do that and build amazing things. We'll never be able to fly, but we can build things that allow us to fly.
That's how the world evolved, wasn't it? It was like for example, if you think about it, you don't see a pack of wolves, and I'm not really sure what wolves go for particularly, but like say a small animal or something, you wouldn't see a pack of them and then a pack of something else come together. It's always the wolves. And like, if you think about humans, it's been humans from this part of the world. They've wandered all the way over here, and then we've thought, wait, they're a bit different. They've got like these harder tools. How can we build that? That's what we've done.
The potential is limitless, mate. And that's why I call my business it.
Flow of knowledge.
Yeah, humans are fucking beautiful. We're amazing, and but just like we said, social media, it's got the power to destroy you, power to just lift you. I think humans have got that inside of them. Oh, yeah. We control the power. We are the secret. We can stand here all day and say, this is. I'm a victim of my circumstances. I'm a victim of this past trauma. This person did this to me. It's different for me. I'm from South Shields. I can never be as successful as someone from London. Yeah. Okay, I get it. I understand it. You've got some kind of barrier holding you back, and it's very, very real. But how real you make it will depend on your mindset. Are you choosing to allow that to define you? Are you choosing your past trauma? Are you allowing your past trauma to define you and rob you of the future? Are you allowing where you are from and I've got a thick accent, but I don't care, because I know that It's just me. I'm authentic, and I provide value anyway. People won't even care about the accent.
Yeah.
You know, like if you just provide the most valuable version of yourself and understand that you are limitless in what your potential can be. Look at what humans have created. Elon Musk driving bloody, electric vans and creating space rockets that, have you seen them land?
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck?
Self-landing rocket.
Just like, what
Absolutely
the hell?
amazing.
How has this dude done that? Like, he inspires the shit out of me. I don't want to be a rocket science, but he's just a dude who's created all this knowledge. How is he so clever? Like, that's the potential that humans have.
He is one of the people who I look up to as well, like small-time people who've made it big. But then, well, Elon, he was small.
I don't think he came from a good background, to be honest.
I haven't looked into his background.
Dude.
Yeah, I think he was just like, and then he just had this inspiring passion one day that he wanted to do it, and look where he is now. He's literally built a rocket that fly. Yes, he's he's constantly getting ridiculed for his rockets crashing. What the hell do you think we done? What the hell do you think humans done in evolution?
You've got to feel to reach the heights.
If he were to spend all of his life building that rocket perfectly and then launch it, and then something goes wrong, that's more worse than having 100 rockets explode on like launch.
Yeah,
you've got to realize you've got to have mistakes to have improvement.
Yeah, mate. Like I say, I've made every mistake in the book, and that's why. That's why I do what I do and teach people about that. So listen, learn from my mistakes, so you don't have to make them. However, if you do make a mistake, don't beat yourself up, man. You're learning. Like you're brand new. Like you've got to fail more times. You only have to win once, and you've won.
Yeah,
you can fail 100 times, but if you try again, you haven't failed. You're just trying again. Yeah. I think people have got to understand that human potential. It's what I'm all about. Human potential. We have got it. We've got it in spades. We've got it in abundance. Yeah, but at school they don't teach kids this. Like, I wish I could just go into schools and just tell kids who are sitting at GCSEs nearly, this doesn't fucking matter. This bit of paper that this Wally is telling you that matters, and that's giving you anxiety. Yeah. Kids are getting therapy for counselling for anxiety now. I didn't even know what fucking anxiety was until I was about 20. Like, why are these kids, 12-year-old, who've just took that 11 plus or whatever it is these days, getting anxious about that? It's a fucking exam with a bit of paper on. Stop pressuring these kids to fit into this social idealism. It doesn't fucking matter. Let them make mistakes. Let them do what they want to do. Let them learn. Yeah,
that was a extremely stressful. I think that's probably one of the points in life where I firstly experienced proper stress was exams. Exams are a massive, like, they just weigh you down, and it brings you to.
It's a memory test, Luke. It's not even a true test of knowledge. It's a memory test.
It just brings you down to your lowest point. You haven't even lived your life, and you're already getting extremely down because some twat says if you don't pass this, you're gonna fail.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Our teachers, I say, telling me if you don't pass this, you're gonna spend the rest of your life in jail.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was a big Jack the Lad, considered myself a bit of a reputation. I'd shout at them and swear at them, tell them where to go and that. But that was just to impress other people. But really, when I got home, I was fucking scared. I was like, oh my God, I hope they're not right.
Yeah,
I don't want that. You know what I mean? What the fuck? Like, I would love to have a conversation with these teachers now and say, like, what have you done differently since I last met you?
Yeah.
Still in the same job? Still pissed off? Still shouting at kids because you're unhappy with your life? Okay then, mate, I'm doing my thing. Yeah, I'm happy now. Yeah, because I decided to be myself. Instead of listen to what people like you said. And that's not a dig at that person. He just wasn't led in the direction that he probably wanted to go. So he's taking this out on kids. Like, the whole education system's, honestly, it's bad. It's bad. And this is not a dig at teachers. It's because there's some wonderful teachers out there.
Oh, yeah.
But definitely. I work with a lot of teachers. I work with 100 people inside my coaching program for all walks of life. I've got business owners. I've got teachers. I've got people who are lawyers. I've got I had an aeroplane driver. I've had aeroplane pilot.
Yeah, pilot, yeah.
A pilot, yeah, aeroplane driver. Fucking hell, Sam. I've had people from all walks of life.
Yeah.
But I've also have teachers as well, and honestly, some of the teachers tell me they're like, the pressure from the higher ups, it's unbelievable. I'm not even teaching the kids, I'm just feeding them this crap. I want to teach them about this, I want to talk them about that. One of my clients the other day, she actually cancelled her lesson and she went and took them out on the field and done meditation and on the sun and played with the flowers and stuff. And she took her kids out and she was like, you know what, it was what they needed. I was like, that's wonderful, I love that. Keep telling us about stuff like that. I love to hear things like that.
Yeah.
Just going against the system, I'm all about that because I hate fitting in. Stand out, man. Have the courage to stand out and be who you really want to be. Don't fit in, because that causes so much issues. Fitting in just causes anxiety.
Yeah.
It causes personality issues, identity issues. Yeah, it took me until I was 23, 24, until I was like, right, I actually like myself right now. I'm doing things that I want to do. People have got zero self-worth because they're not doing anything that makes them feel worthy. They're doing things to fit in.
Yeah, it's just like this whole COVID situation. Like, it's different from being told, you know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, I'm sitting around. Like, for example, growing up, I never really went out much, even though I had friends that they were constantly asked to go out. I was like, I don't really want to go out. I just want to sit in and play games. So I've lived through all that. And then when lockdown hit, I was thinking, oh, it's going to be a piece of cake. I've been sitting in my house all this time. It's way different sitting in the house because you want to than being told you've got to. And I feel like that's been widely created through like the educational system. You've got to do this to get here. You don't have to do that at all to get there. You know what I mean? Yes, okay, fine. The teacher, you know, math and all that, that's basic principles. Some of the things that in math, like what I learned, don't need that. Come on. You only need the basics, you know what I mean?
There's this thing on my phone called a calculator.
That's what I always said. That's what I was always like in
fuck
class.
Maths. But honestly, like I get it. Listen, that's not a dig at, like, you know, you've got to learn your basics and that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They pressure these kids as if like if they don't get an A in maths, their life's over. And it's like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I just honestly, I don't know why. Well, I kind of know why. I think it's just to create this worker bee society. Yeah. The mentality of a scared worker bee, someone who leaves school, he gets any job, he works in his 9 to 5, he pays his taxes, he doesn't act up, he doesn't revolt, he just does what he does. That's what they want. They want worker bees. Yeah. That's what the powers that be want. They want to control society. And if you've got the courage to stand up against that, you can become anything you want to become. If you don't have the courage to stand out against that, you'll fit in like everyone else. And that's where alcohol will come in, drugs will come in, online shopping, binge eating. Like I say, I work with a lot of people who struggle with emotional eating. And the reason that they can't stop eating is because they hate their life. Yeah. It's because they're not living for themselves. They're not standing out. They're fitting in. And everything about them is screaming out for change. Their emotions are screaming at them, please change what you're doing. Leave this job you fucking hate it. Please don't do this. Yeah. Monday morning, they're having to drag themselves out of bed. They're crying on the way to work. I work with people who I have conversations. I wish I could record them and share them. Obviously, they're very personal, and I would never do that. But you wouldn't believe at how many regular people who you see I follow them all on social media. They're not posting their bad days, but they're on the phone to me in tears what they're struggling with, and I'm like, it's breaking my fucking heart. This, but please listen. Yeah, let's stand out. Let's change something. Otherwise, this is going to be the way it is. Mm-hmm. You know. Well, look, I think we've covered a lot there. Yeah, definitely a lot there. So we went from what social media, talking about my business, talking about your job, talking about life, talking about Elon Musk. Yeah. We've covered a lot of shit.
Educational system.
It was. Education, yeah. There's teachers writing complaints into the podcast right now, kicking off, but never mind.
Definitely.
But yeah, like I say, mate, we're in the new age right now. It's the infotainment age, the value-tainment age. You provide value, you provide entertainment, you get someone to relate to you and say, you know what it is? I like what you said, thank you for that. You'll always do all right. Yeah. And that's our mission inside Limitless Training, isn't it? Just to spread knowledge, spread the truth, gives people some entertainment, give people some value to help them change their life. Yeah. Yeah.
That little bit of inspiration goes a long way.
It does, mate. Well, we'll be back on any time where we're doing a podcast and I kind of get any guests. I'll be like, Luke, come back on. Yeah.